So, hello everybody, this is Miss Darling in the studio, and today we're going to do something really different, and I've never done it before, so we'll be winging it. And what we're going to do is this. I have a bunch of antique book pages that I recently used to cover a journal, and I've discovered in buying, especially books in the 1800s, that most of them are this smaller size, which is about 5 by 7, 5.5 by 8.5. And so I had these pages that I had taken from several books left over, and I wanted to store them in something that would be protective, but I didn't have anything that I liked. So my decision was, okay, I've either got to buy a container or make one, and I decided to make one. So come along with me and we'll try to get this done together. Before I say anything else, be sure and like the video if you value the content, and share it, especially with friends and family. I would appreciate you helping me grow my channel. That would be wonderful, so more people can take advantage of this training and info that I'm going to be sharing as we go along. So my Etsy store, in case you're wondering, is called MissDarlingArts, the same name as my channel, and easy to find. I have a lot of things there to assist you, a lot of resources on all kinds of different things that I hope to share with you. And so go take a peek, and if anything is of value to you there, feel free to just browse around and see what there is to offer. So that said, let's get to work. Now, I have done some pre-work already. I decided what I needed was an interior box approximately 6 by 9. So I looked in my stash of empty cracker boxes, and lo and behold, I found this cracker box that it's Triscuit original. This video is not sponsored by, who is it? Nabisco, or I don't know. It's not sponsored by the makers of Triscuit. Just I happen to have an empty box of theirs on hand, so I cut off the top. And later I wasn't sure it was such a good idea to go ahead and cut off the top, but it's going to help me when I go to design the top, and then I'll just have to figure a way to reattach it. So anyway, this is kind of what the box would look like with nothing done to it. So what I did is I put the edges back together, and then I secured them and made them sturdy with some black duct tape, and you can see the tape along the outer perimeter. I didn't have to do anything to the bottom because it's just a solid piece of cardstock. And then I went around the edges of the top and put duct tape around there to protect that, because this is the part that, if I get into it quite often, that's where all the wear and tear is going to happen. So that's as far as I got, and then decided I should make a video about this, and so here we are. Okay, I decided that the contents of this box are being made especially for antique book pages, so it seems really fitting that I should design the outer box with book pages. And so that's what we're going to do. I have so far decided what I'm going to do with the top. This is the most important part. what I would see most often. So I pulled out this title page from one of the books, and I'm going to use that on the top. And then I have this large type on vellum that I purchased from another crafter that's going to go there, and then I'm going to put a portion of this black lace down and a butterfly that's all color coordinated. So I want to say that I think for me it's important to have an idea before I start of where I'm going to go, and not just randomly try to figure things out as I go, especially if I'm filming a video for other people. I think it sets a bad example. I think it's always better for you in most circumstances to think ahead, decide what you're going to do, have a plan of action before you start, so you're not just jumping in and then wondering what to do and feeling at loss as to how to proceed. So the first thing I did, knowing that I'm going to be gluing on more book pages that are this light brown color with a little bit of off-white pages that will be randomly put on the outside, that's the start of deciding what my color scheme is going to be. And so I want everything that I do to blend nicely from a color standpoint so that it looks attractive, even pretty when it's done. So I know where my cover is going, and then I know what's going to be inside and on the back of the box, but I wanted to make sure I had an idea of what I was going to do to embellish the perimeter of the box. And so I pulled out all of these fabric swatches that I have in bits and pieces. I save everything for this purpose, and so you can see that my color scheme of my fabrics is very much in keeping with, let me move some of this stuff out and get this a little more in frame. Sorry about that. You can see that the color scheme of my fabrics is very much in keeping with what I plan to do on the cover. So, not that I'm going to use all of these. I'm quite confident that I'll use some of them. How many of them at this point I will use, I don't know. I may add other ephemera down the line, but having these papers and these fabrics pre-chosen gives me a very solid grounding in the direction that I'm going to go, and I think that's important. The lid, of course, is the most important design, so that's what I decided first before thinking about what I was going to do on the perimeter of the box. I will also cover the bottom of the box, even though I don't need to, but I think that since I'm doing all this work on the rest of it, I should be consistent and do the bottom as well. The only thing I haven't figured out quite yet is how I'm going to reattach the lid to the box when everything's been done to it, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So, let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is to cover the edges of of the top with some of the book pages. So I think I'll go ahead and maybe even wrap them around as I go. I'll be using wet glue for this, and this is called Art Glitter Glue. So I'm just going to randomly lay some of this down, and then I'll paste or glue the main page on top. I like to have a nice finished look. So how is everybody today? I hope you're all well and feeling good. By the way, if you've got any empty boxes of, it doesn't have to be a cracker box, just needs to be a little bit bigger on the interior than what you plan to store in it. So even if you don't have something the same size or shape that I'm working with, go ahead, pause the video, go get something, and let's craft together. Going over that edge and then just fold it over so I could get a nice wrapped corner there. You don't have to do that, but just sort of hit me that might be a good way to do this. I'd also like to hear from you as to what kind of topics you're interested in learning about that I could consider addressing. So let me know in the comment section if there's something specific you'd like me to do a video on. These pages are from a vintage dictionary. I don't mind that they're all going to be from the same book and the same color, because this is just going to be on the edge. Not much of it's going to show anyway. Mentioned, I think I guess it's in a video I haven't put up yet, but I did mention that I was going to be going to get my vaccination a week ago, and I did, and my only reaction to it was a sore arm, which I had for, I'm going to say probably only 2 days it was sore. Other than that, I didn't have any adverse reaction. They made me stay an extra 15 minutes after I got the shot, saying that if you're going to have a bad reaction, it will likely happen in the first 15 minutes after getting the shot. So they had us wait in a waiting room for the 15 minutes to go by, and then we were free to leave. Okay, I think I'll maybe go ahead and finish up the inside with a completely different sheet, which will probably pretty much cover all of the maybe we'll go with this sheet that says contents and put that down there. I like that idea. Open it up and it says contents. And I think I like the fuller side better, so we'll put glue on this back side. Still having to be very careful. This vintage book paper is very fragile and breaks away quite easily. So not that you can't repair it if something happens, but I just put a hole in it. Now if this looks spotty at first. It's only because the glue is wet. But once the glue dries, you're not going to see that. You can see all this marks here where I laid glue down. That's all going to disappear once it's dry. Okay, and I think that I'm going to grunge up the edges a little bit. Put a little bit of this darker brown ink. It's from a Tim Holtz ink pad, and the color is walnut. I just ordered some new ink pads in fall colors, which are my favorite. I won't be here for a couple of weeks though. But I use this walnut ink for lots of different projects, and I think maybe do I want to do that? I don't think I want to do that on the top cover because I'd like to have some contrast with that and the book cover. Now for this one, I think I'm going to use a glue stick. I have to be really careful. Making sure I definitely get the edges first. At the end of this one. I decided to switch to the glue stick because I'll have a better chance of getting the glue spread evenly over the whole sheet and not just the sections where I put it down. Each time you glue something, you have to decide which type of glue is best for the situation. I could tell by using the wet glue on the underside of the lid that that probably wasn't going to be the when everything's done, I may come back and put at least one coat of an acrylics sealer on it, some sort of fixative, because the paper is so old and I don't want it getting damaged any further than it is. Okay, that's gonna go up there. That's gonna go up there, and next we've got this fabric I'm gonna put on. I think we'll kind of do like this, and I'll be using Fabrifix because I'm dealing with fabric. First decide which side is up, and I think that's it there. So I'm going to kind of come across this glue at an angle. Putting it directly on the paper instead of on the fabric. I think that will help me get some of the spots on the lace that I wouldn't get otherwise. I lost track of time, so of course my camera stopped filming. I don't know how long ago that was. So obviously I was chatting away and doing something, and I don't know how much I lost, but I can't recoup it now, so we'll just continue on. Depending on where it cut off, I've attached this black lace, and I have this on the flip side and the lace, and now I'm going to lay this text wording to make sure I get it level. Why do I keep losing things I'm working with? There you are, hiding. I like things printed on vellum because you can see through. But I think I'm going to have to find a different butterfly. I like it that it's on just regular 24-pound copy paper, and I really would rather have something on cardstock, so I'm going to pause this and come back. Okay, I'm back. I'm glad I stopped that because I found something better. This is a lot brighter. It's a butterfly that I printed off on photo paper, and you can see what a difference in quality that makes as opposed to what I had before, which just wasn't going to cut it as far as quality goes. So I'm going to use this butterfly, position it about right in there so the wings don't cut off the text, and I'm in approximately a third from the edge, which is where I want to be. So I'm going to head and glue this down. I'll switch to my fabric glue. Some of that in here too, just to be on the safe side. Don't want this lifting up down the road. So I may be splitting this video into two different ones, part 1, part 2. It's taking a little longer to get here this far. Things always take a little longer than you think they're going to. So there we have the lid to our box. I'm going to put that back in, and this is going to go approximately there. I will hinge it on this side, and when you open it up, I suppose I should have put my contents up there so it reads this way. Well, it's maybe not too late to change that. Let me see if I have another contents page. I do. I have a bunch of them. I think that would be better. You learn as you go. Think about direction, and since I'm right-handed, opening this up, I'm going to open it this way, so it would be better if I'm able to read that going down this way instead of the opposite direction. So at this point, though, I've been using these glue sticks, which is working out pretty well. Remember how I talked earlier about being able to see where I'd laid the glue down, and just wanted to point it out that that's all gone because the glue has dried. Invisible glue. That's one thing you need to check before you buy glue. I should point out, make sure that if there's any color to it, even if it's white, you want to make sure that it dries clear or invisible. Oh, pulling up on me. Always a good idea, I think, to use a burnishing tool, bone folder, or even a credit card, something. Don't just rely on your hands to get good adhesion. Always burnish with something that's not going to rip it. Okay, so now when we go to open it up, it reads the right way. So I'm going to say that's a wrap for this video. Be sure and come back to part 2, which will be in a few days, and see the rest of what we do with this box. Thanks for sticking with me. Be sure and like and share with your family and friends, and visit my Etsy shop to see what all's there that can help you with your own projects. So until I see you again, this is Miss Darling calling this a wrap.